I'm doing it in a step parent thing. Because at the end of the day, the bigger decisions are still yours
Right.
and his mom to make. So, I know where my limits are. And it's actually easier than I expect it to be. It's hard, but I thought it would be harder. I think it makes it easier that, Joseph and I have a good relationship, but I could see how hard it could be if you don't have that. Hi, welcome to the 34th episode of Love, Growth, and Narratives. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Fredrick.
And we are so excited because we have 1.6 thousand subscribers on YouTube. We're just really excited about that. Just back in November when we got married, we had about 51, and our goal was to reach 100 by the end of the year. We didn't make that goal, but now more than what we could have asked for, we have reached this goal.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and counting. And so please continue to subscribe and to share. I don't think we've hit the big viral yet, but we definitely have hit something to cause it to grow some more. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, we really appreciate all the support. Today we're going to talk about blended families and the challenges of doing that, and how we've gone about blending our families together, and the fun parts and the not so fun parts.
Yes. So tune in. I'm sure there's many people who can relate to this. So
absolutely.
Here we go.
All right, we're back. Yeah, so talking about blended families, and this is something, since I've been married a few times already, in my first marriage, I came to the marriage with no children, and my wife at the time had a beautiful young daughter. And at the time, I didn't know how to insert myself, and I was in my mid-20s, so I didn't know a whole lot of things. But just trying to figure out where to step in, where not to, where to let her get away with stuff, where to intervene. It was really difficult. I don't think I did a great job at it. She and I stay in touch because actually her birthday is in a few days here.
Pisces.
Yeah. I mean, so we still have a great relationship. She seems to think I did better than I think I did. So I hopefully I did okay. But in terms of you came to the relationship, with not having a child, and I still had Joseph at who's a teenager here. How was that for you?
Well, with me not ever having any children of my own, it was new. It was something I always saw myself doing, and being a teacher for 30 years, I felt like, oh, I have all these ideas and all these things that I want to do. But it obviously is not the same as being at the beginning. And because I am a child I was a child who, my mom got married, and I knew what it was like to have somebody come into the relationship that I had with my parent, and how I really struggled with that and had a hard time. I didn't want to put Joseph in that position. I was weary about it. I mean, there's only so much I could do. A little bit of that was going to happen, but I was concerned about him not feeling like I'm taking his, parent away, and, that he was going to feel left out.
And it's crazy because I was really looking for the help.
Yeah.
Doing so much on my own,
right.
Not sure I was doing right by my son. I really needed the help. So I probably threw you into more than you were prepared for.
I mean, yes, you were definitely, good at like going 5,000 on things. But I would say the first year I was kind of just watching. I was getting to know who he is, who you are as a father,
right?
How much his mom was in his life and what that was looking like before I said anything, and just trying to kind of build a relationship. I think year 2, when we got more serious and we started living together, I was like, okay, I'm going to step in and really step into this role, at least in terms of the schooling portion, and hopefully just making an impact just on how I am and the kind of conversations we have, based on what I received growing up. And I feel like it worked. I mean, it was hard because I didn't know how much to involve myself. Was I going to full on be this second or third parent,
Right.
or am I just there for like some maintenance? And I think initially I just went full in, like full on. And I
Yeah.
think maybe he had a little bit of a hard time with that, and so did I. I mean, I remember when he was graduating from junior high and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do his hair. And I told him ahead of time and I bought products and
Mm-hmm.
everything. But I think in the moment of me putting my hands in his hair, it became overwhelming to him. And he was like, I'm sorry, I'm just used, I just used to my mom being the only person to
Yeah.
do this. And that's totally reasonable. I totally
Yeah.
get it. I was like, okay, let me just tell you what to do and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I totally got that,
Mm-hmm.
I think that once we started living together, it became more like he saw who I am and
Mm-hmm.
who I was going to be to him and how I supported him in the relationship with you. I feel like that really helped. And to be honest with you, there's a page Instagram page I follow. I don't want to say it because I don't want to give the wrong name, not because I don't want to give them credit, but it's basically for step parents.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a post where the creator said, as a step parent, you need to not act like an actual parent, but more
Mm-hmm.
just like, the more maintenance, like, did you take out the trash or, did you finish your homework? Like,
Right.
keep it light. And I totally disagreed with that initially. I had already gone off the deep end. And then, with between, the illnesses with you and my mom and the wedding planning, I kind of ended up going that route.
Yeah.
And it actually did help me. I'm not sure it helped him because I think I pulled back too much in some ways in terms of school. But it really did help to just be like, take that off of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think because I went so hard on it. But at the same time, I think that I really helped him. I know that I really helped him change because he said it.
Yes.
I'm not trying to just give myself credit. And maybe
Right.
somehow we could stick it in here. The total surprise speech he gave at our wedding.
That was really awesome. And he's also given you credit for the change in he and I's relationship, because there have been times I've had to sit him down and apologize to him for the way I've reacted for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I do that, he says, "Hey, did Tiffany have to tell you this?" And more often now, I was like, yeah, Tiffany let me know that I was wrong. Yeah. And we have a good laugh over it. But yeah, he does really see the significance of you. And yeah, during the wedding, and I'm not much of a person to cry when someone's talking, but man, there was waterworks on that one. He actually really told you how important you are.
He did. And it was really powerful to me. And it validated what I'm doing, that I'm not going too far. I mean, there's
Right.
times where I really had to go in. I mean,
Yes.
you just have to, right? It's a teen and
Yes.
that's just normal. But I tried to use some of the parenting that my mom did, in between our two different styles of parenting. I think it really, really helps. But going back to the blended, like, I've never had any help really with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anyone the person that she was married to at one time, and then anyone she dated after that, they really weren't that much help, right?
Yeah.
So having you step in and just, the blended family is beyond the kid thing.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
For you to offer to take her places, to take her to the doctor at the time before we got a caregiver, was huge, right? I did not ask you. I didn't bring it up. I didn't mention it. I never would have in a million years thought of this. I don't know anybody else's boyfriend, spouse, husband that does this kind of thing. So it wasn't really an expectation. But when you offered it, it was so helpful. Like, it just took a complete load off of me because I wasn't going to be able to get her to all those appointments during the day with my job. So that was extremely helpful. And it was really good that the two of you have your own relationship. I know at first my mom was like, how do I know he's not a killer, right? Because it was like I think I had gone out of town or something. And I was like, well, Freddie will be here. My mom's like, well, he's going to be here to what? Kill me? Like, she's joking. But at the same time, we didn't know each other that well at that point, right? Like a few months. And so I'm just glad that the two of you formed your own relationship. And your mom with your whole family being out of state, or we're out of state, however you want to look at it, I don't get to see her and spend the same amount of time that you do with my mom, but your mom was so good about calling and talking to to both me and my mom. Like
Yeah.
our moms stay on the phone for hours.
Yes, they do.
And that was really nice. And early on, we went to go visit your parents earlier on in our relationship, and we brought my mom with us. And I think that really helped. And your sisters are so warm and open and caring. Your dad calls me now and then and is making jokes. I mean, your family is so open and their arms are so just wide open towards
But you
me.
gotta, a lot of that was because of you, because my father is not always the warmest person in the world. And when I told him that I was thinking about getting married again, he was like, "Oh boy, not again." You know? and he was, and he was like, "Are you sure?" And man, I don't know about this. And then he met you, and then he was like, "Okay, I get it." All right, makes sense. And it was, and then like my mother, she loved you from the beginning. My older sister, when she came out here that time and visited, and you guys got to hang out and everything,
Yeah.
and she fell in love with you. And then my younger sister met you when we went to Maryland, and so they all just fell in love with you for who you are. And so the in-law thing, luckily for us, hasn't been a problem.
Right.
And me getting to hang out with your mom. And so for me, it's not like I'm taking your mom to a doctor's appointment. It's I'm hanging out with your mom today. So it's like we have a good time, we enjoy, we talk a little trash to each other, and we just have fun. And so it kind of breaks up the monotony of the day, because during the day I'm in meetings and all that kind of stuff. And so having a break from that to hang out with your mom for a while, it's actually a welcome break. It's it's not a burden at all.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then on top of it, my family is pretty small. Like I don't have any siblings. I didn't grow up knowing my dad. So I have a first cousin who lives out here, and you have also gotten really close with them. We spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with them, and your kids from back east came out, and we had a
Yep.
whole Thanksgiving together, and that was really nice. Everyone gelled well. My cousin Justin, his wife Allie, and the three littles, like Joseph does really well with them. They love Joseph.
Yeah, they love Joseph.
And so it's just so nice to see, like, for me to go from like a family of one or
Yeah.
two of us to like this huge family now on both sides, like, and it's
Yeah.
just, it's so nice. Like, it's a good feeling, because for a little bit I felt a little bit alone in the world. I mean, my friends are very much like my family and sisters, but it's different when it's like holidays and stuff. We don't normally, everyone's going to their own separate families.
Yeah.
And so now we
But
have a
that's
little
another
bigger.
aspect we didn't talk about, was the blending the friendships as well. Because I remember, like, when we started getting close, one of your friends asked me to my face, "Hey, I really like hanging out with Tiffany, and I'd like to continue to do that." And I said, "Go do that."
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Right.
not trying to control her life. We're not going to control. You don't control my life. I don't control yours.
Right.
We're still, going to be who we are. And so that I guess that was a little uncomfortable. Were any of your other friends uncomfortable with that?
Not that I know of. I mean,
Okay.
some people might have wondered, but pretty much for the most part, most of my friends we're all like close with whoever that person's dated or
Right.
married to. And so it was kind of nice that, you are the same way. Like my friends are your friends. We all have
Right.
each other's phone number. We hang out. We
Yeah.
do things together. It has been just great, because it's really important to me for whoever I'm dating or whoever I'm
Right.
married to in this case, to also have a relationship with my friends, especially my close.
I even hang out with your
Friends.
high school boyfriend.
Yeah.
He's actually a great friend of mine now. I love the guy. So yeah, it's been.
Who's now like a brother to me.
Yeah. I mean,
And his wife, love his
yes.
wife. you know?
they're both great. We hang out often, and so I think it's worked out great. I think I really feel lucky that we've been able to have this without all of the issues. I've known too many people that when they've gotten married, that It could be, in-law tension
Mm-hmm.
or friend tension or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
we've been lucky enough not to have any of that.
I agree. And while it does change, like your time, it's not even just the time. It's also like for me personally, my energy level, right? Like work is pretty intense right now. And then you
Yeah.
come home and you're like, okay, you got to spend time with your family and you also want to have time with your friend. I'm just tired. I'm barely
Yeah.
spending time with myself. So you do have to put more effort to keep those relationships alive. But I think, most of us are pretty good about doing that because these are people who have been there for decades
Yes.
before, you know what I mean? Especially with me getting married so much later in life at 54. These people have been around for literally 40 something years. I'm not going to
Right.
abandon them, right? They've been here. We've been there for each other through thick and thin, all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. So it's really important to me that the friendship and the family blending goes well. And it has. Like, I
Yeah.
really appreciate that this has just been a great journey, a learning journey, and all of that is just really nice.
That's why I've always tried to surround myself with the people I like being around, and
Mm-hmm.
and I guess in doing that, your circle ends up getting small. But I've just been lucky to meet and have friendships with so many great people. But even on top of that, my cousins have taken ownership on you of you as well. I got Jeff and Eric and
Yeah.
Doc, and
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
even they have kind of taken you into the family, and so it's just it's wonderful. It was important to me that my family love you. Now that's because I also love and respect my family. If
Mm-hmm.
there were people in my family that I didn't care for that much, then I wouldn't really care.
Right. Right. Right.
But because I mean, especially like with my sisters, because my sisters can be pretty protective of me,
Which is so cute.
and so when they fell in love with you immediately, I said, okay, we're in good shape here.
Right. And I was nervous, to be honest with you. Like, I remember early on, I think it was your dad's birthday or your parents' anniversary. I can't remember. It might have been anniversary because it's October, right?
I
And we
think
met in
that
October.
would have been
And so
anniversary.
you were already trying to pull me on to a FaceTime with everybody. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm already awkward, right? And I'm already introverted. And I'm like, now I have to be on a camera and try to, be upbeat. And so I wish I could spend more time with them because it takes me a while to like really loosen up with people.
Yeah.
And I wish I could spend more time so that we could get closer faster and everything. But I want to be conscious of like my energy level when I'm around them so that, because throughout my life, people misread me and see it as me like not wanting to be bothered or lack of interest. It's not that. I just take a while to like warm up and get comfy.
Yes.
Right. But your family is like comfy from day one, which I love that, which
Yeah.
makes it easier for me too. But my concern was like, I don't want to come off like, and especially being your, third wife,
Right.
that I might be getting compared to the other two.
Absolutely.
And so I was worried about all of that. And honestly, one of the bigger things I was worried about too was your daughter, Kai, who I love.
Yeah.
Just concerned when it's a girl, right?
Yes.
A girl.
Because she's also protective of me. Yes.
Yeah. And so I didn't want it to be like, who you think you are? And then you got my brother out there. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm making up the stories in my mind. This is nothing that anyone has done or projected.
Absolutely.
But I'm just thinking of all the possible things, like,
Yes.
and so I just want people to feel comfortable and I want to get to know them and everything, but I don't want to come in like.
Yeah. And that was also important that Kai loved you, because my daughter is, not only is she my daughter, but she's also one of my advisors. So, I really listen to what Kai has to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so that also was important. But yeah, and she came out here and she fell in love with you. It's just everybody fell in love with you, which is awesome. I think it's good to also think about, when people don't have that and how they would have to navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though this is your first marriage, this is not your first relationship. Have you had it where you've had to deal with, the siblings of someone or the friends of someone?
Not really, honestly. Like when I look back at a lot of the relationships, either I was really young
Hmm.
or they just weren't the type where we were so involved in each other's life
Hmm.
beyond each other. So this is like the first one that's like been really full on and healthy. And as a full adult, you know,
Yeah.
I haven't experienced this before. I didn't really date too many people with kids, you know. So no, or we just didn't really get close to each other. Maybe they got to know my mom, but I didn't get to
Hmm.
know their parents,
Yeah.
that type of thing. So no, this was brand spanking new to me.
Yeah, and
So
I was actually happy that you had a small family because I figured there was less of a chance of people, some of these people not liking me because I can be a bit quirky and stuff like that, and some people don't really accept that as well, and so the fact that it was just, your mom, and then, I met your mom that day, at the restaurant, and
hmm
I was like, oh, okay, she's cool.
yeah,
All right, this is good,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then meeting Justin and Allie and all of them were cool.
yeah.
I was like, all right, this is gonna be good.
Right, yeah.
This is gonna be good.
Yeah, honestly, if my uncles and my grandparents had been around, they would have loved you too. So
Yeah.
I know, I mean, just the kind of family that we have. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just so happy that, we got into this and we try to create, I try to pull in some of my traditions that I grew up with, and you have traditions that
Yeah.
you grew up with, and we try to put that together and give Joseph like a really good, hopefully healthy, happy experience,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think also because with this relationship, I'm still doing this differently than I've done relationships in the past because
hmm
I'm still learning things, I'm still getting better. And one of the things I think it's also had an impact on Joseph because Joseph realizes that you're not always going to get it right, and it's okay to sometimes screw it up as long as you learn from it and constantly evolve. And now Joseph is now becoming a young man who's not as afraid to make mistakes and who's much better at taking ownership over his over his mistakes. And a lot of that is because of you, because I could be a little harsh on him, you know. And then what would happen is I would go back in the room, and then you would talk to me, and then I'd go back out there, and all right, Joseph, that's not exactly the way I meant it, sorry
Right.
about that. And I said, oh, so you just heard that from Tiffany. Yes, but that's not the point.
Right. I mean, the fact that you take into what I'm
Yeah.
saying, because it's not, people are probably like, is she a gentle parenting? Like, I
Yeah.
do believe more so in that than
Hmm.
the, disciplinarian type of parenting, but, or whatever you want to call it, punishment. But I do, but not to the point where it's like the kid is running over me. You know
Right.
what I mean? I just think that it's important to have conversations, get kids feel, understand what they're thinking and
Hmm.
feeling, and getting them to express that and letting them know it's a comfortable place that they can do that. Because that's what my mom did for me. I mean,
Hmm.
it's crazy of a life that I grew up with in from the time I was probably 7 on, in terms of like who my mom dated. She still had this really great foundation in the
Yeah.
things that she did with me, and the
Yes.
kind of relationship that we had, and where I know I can't have exactly that because Joseph still does have his mom there.
Right.
I still want him to, like, I want to help create new experiences for him, have a safe place for him to
Yeah.
go, teach him, have him go see the world. That's why we really pushed him going to Europe. And
Yep.
I just think all of that stuff's really important. And I share a lot of the stories with him of me and my mom and
Hmm.
the way we did things and the relationship we had.
Yeah.
And so, I think that helps to hear some of that.
And your mother has such a great ear about her because, you had told me that you could tell your mom everything, and you did tell your mom everything. And now Joseph tells your mom everything. So she just has this way about
All right.
her that just makes people want to tell her everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's actually an awesome trait to have because so many parents place themselves on this pedestal over the child, looking over the child,
hmm
where the child feels like they can't come to them for everything.
hmm
But no matter what it was, you were able to go to your mom and have those conversations. And I'm trying to open up that same line of communication with Joseph, and that's
Mhm.
why I'm talking to him more and listening to him more and not being as judgmental and trying to be more of an advisor, because at 16, say what you want, you're not really a parent. You're more of a consultant,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
you can't make but so many wholesale changes in a 16-year-old.
Right.
So you really just want to kind of help to guide instead of trying to shift them.
Right, right. And I think with being a teacher, I'm not saying you have to be a teacher, a teacher to do this as a parent, because plenty of parents do this, but I'm just talking about what I've used
Hmm.
is like I'm always having to read the kid,
Yeah.
read the moment, read the mood. What am I
Hmm.
going to say next? What am I trying to guide them to? Do I want to have things open? What are some hard no's? All of that kind of stuff. But except I'm doing it in a step parent thing, because at the end of the day, the bigger decisions are still yours
Right.
and as moms to make. So I know where my limits are. And it's actually easier than I expect it to be. It's hard, but I thought it would be harder.
Hmm.
I think it makes it easier that, Joseph and I have a good relationship, but
Yeah.
I could see how hard it could be if you don't have that relationship with that
Yes.
child. Then, and
Yes.
I haven't had to really talk with his mom.
Right.
We haven't had any friction there. It's been like
Right.
maybe once I've had to over text,
Right.
but actually otherwise no. So it's
Yeah.
been, that part's been easy because I've heard the stories that people
Right.
have and all of that. And so
Yeah.
that's
So
been
it's
helpful.
it's been wonderful, and I appreciate this journey and how we continue this journey.
Mhm.
But at least that piece of it, with the in-laws and the friends and all of that, I think we're on a good footing for that, and
Mhm.
so it's been absolutely wonderful.
It really truly has. I feel like just this is great. I couldn't have asked for a better situation,
Yeah.
honestly. I wish that I could have. I mean, I know we were very both different at a younger age, and we probably wouldn't have been ready for each other.
You wouldn't have wanted me in my 20s. I'm just telling you right now. I didn't want me in my 20s. So,
But I hope we have a really long
yeah,
time together.
yeah,
I know we're older, but and
absolutely.
then maybe some of this being older helps. I don't know
Yeah,
if it does or not. Like I thought maybe it would get in our way because I'm settled in my ways and you're settled in your ways, and once in a while we bump heads, but for the most part we don't.
but we're both willing to listen, and
Yeah.
so and make little pivots here and there. So
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
it's fine. It works out.
Yeah, it
Works
does.
out.
It does.
Yeah.
So
So
those out there who are going through this, hang in there. Look for help. Like I said, there's I think two sites that I follow, two pages that I follow about
mhm,
step parents, and just listen to stories, and it's helpful. It's very helpful. But
yeah,
the main thing with anything is like if you're working on yourself, then hope the things that are outside of you tend to improve.
yeah.
So
It really does. It
mhm.
really does. And I think we can draw this to a close.
Yeah, I do want you to let's
Mhm.
put in there for the people, a clip of Joseph talking at the wedding.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I'll stick that in there.
right. Because that's a
Yeah.
pretty big, it validates, what we've got here.
Yes.
And
But Tiffany, you are the definition of lovely. You have been so patient with my bad attitudes, with my eye rolls that would make you just wanna, and just like, you have been such an angel, and you have taught me so much about school, so much about life, and so much of just about being a good person. And I feel like without you, I wouldn't have learned that, because before you, oh, I would have hated me. Oh, my mouth had no clothes on it, but no filters. But you taught me how to be kinder and think kinder, and how to regulate my emotions and regulate my anger, and how to understand his point of view when he's being really annoying. But I just really am grateful for you, and I'm so happy that I get to spend many more years with you.
Powerful.
Yes. Yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to, being a part of all of the different milestones that go on in the teenage years from here to probably like 21.
Yeah.
With you. And, thank you so much for trusting me to do this work, because it's a big job, and we hear all the time people say, don't trust nobody with your kids. You know what I mean? Like, why you got that person around your kids? You know what I mean? So I understand that.
Yes.
I do.
Well, I appreciate you taking it on because, people who haven't been parents, a lot of them have these grand ideas of how easy it is to parent. All you got to do is this.
Which I do. Yep, I do.
This is all you got to do. And you did a little bit of that. And I was like, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Show me how it's done. Show me how it's done.
Yeah.
Because, kids, they don't care about all that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right, yeah.
But no, it's worked out well. But, we're going to go ahead and draw this to a close. And so thank you for staying with us throughout this episode and throughout our journey. And for episode 34 of Love, Growth, and Narratives, I'm Fredrick.
And I'm Tiffany.
Thank you so much. We will see you next week.
Yes. Oh, and Pisces season has began. It began last month, but I'm a March Pisces, so hey.
Yeah, if you're into all of that.
Yeah, he's not into that. I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye.